Isn't that illegal?
This video is about heaven and what going to heaven actually means. Although don't forget, as I'm an atheist, I don't believe in God or in heaven. But if Christianity is right, apparently this is how it's going to be. So people who believe in God believe that it gives them a purpose to their life. In fact, it's one of the main questions that atheists are asked. If you don't believe in God and you don't believe that you get to heaven, is there any point to your life? Why do you exist at all? According to Christianity, then, what's the purpose of life? I looked it up and here are a few of the things I found. According to Christianity, the purpose of life is to glorify God and go to heaven. Because that's where home is, heaven, apparently. According to Pastor Rick Warren, who's quite a famous author and pastor, people were planned for God's pleasure, in other words to worship Him. They were formed for God's family. They were created to become like Christ, i.e. to be a disciple of Christ. They were shaped for serving God, and they were made for a mission. That mission is evangelism, teaching everybody else about Christianity. So your purpose on earth seems to be simply to serve God and get to heaven. So that is the only thing you are designed to do. So what's heaven? How do we describe heaven? There are some quotes I found, people giving their versions of what heaven is. This is from a reverend who said, there'll be no tears, no mourning, no suffering. It's eternal joy and happiness because you are at one with God. Somebody else said, I always think of heaven as being a place where we won't have any troubles anymore. Heaven is a place where there will be peace and tranquility. The Bible says in Revelation 21, there will be no more death or mourning or crying or pain, for the old order of things had passed away. And somebody else said, this is another quote, said, the best is yet to come. Oh yeah. So, heaven is basically a place without pain and suffering, with no troubles at all. But what does that mean? What it means is that the people in heaven are going to live in heaven for eternity, which is a million, billion, trillion, zillion years. But they will have absolutely no purpose whatsoever. Now, it's not just as simple as having no purpose. They will have nothing to do whatsoever, because you won't have to work, because going to work implies getting paid to work, either in money or food or possessions. And because there's no pain and suffering, why would you need money or food? God's not going to allow you to starve, is He? And as you're already in heaven, it's going to be pretty difficult to die if you're already dead. So you're not going to die of starvation. You won't have to have sex, oh dear, because that would imply giving birth to new life. God could just do that anyway. Give new life to anything if He wanted. He creates life. So there's going to be no joy of childbirth, because bearing children is a painful, messy thing. It's hard work. So there's going to be none of that in heaven. No kids to look after in heaven. There won't be any TV. Who's going to make the programmes if nobody's working? And why would you have to learn anything from TV, or in fact from books or videos? Why would you need to learn anything at all when God can just implant all the knowledge of the universe in you instantly? No need to clean things, because heaven's not going to get dusty, because most of the dust in your rooms is dead skin cells, and your skin isn't going to die in heaven, is it? And surely God's not going to let it go get dirty. No need to go shopping, owning material goods. That's going to create envy and competitiveness. Can't have any of that in heaven. They're all bad things. No sport. Sport's competitive. It implies winners and losers. Surely there's going to be no losers in heaven. There's going to be no art, because if you painted a picture, what if it wasn't very good? And if everybody was supremely talented, then there'd be no challenge to painting that picture. If it wasn't any good, who's going to tell you? Nobody's going to hurt your feelings when you're in heaven, because that, again, that's emotional pain. Even if it's on a small scale, it's a bad thing. Music, same as art. Where's the challenge in composing a new piano concerto? You can just do it instantly, because all the frustration and the hard work that musicians go through when they're composing won't be there. You won't need to go through all that. There won't be any research into the history of the past, because God knows everything. He can just tell you everything that ever happened. No need for science, no need for technology. God made all the laws of science, apparently, so he knows all the answers. If you want something, it'll all be provided for you, no questions asked. So in other words, life in heaven is going to be very, 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 very easy. So, after everybody's died, God's destroyed the earth and everybody's gone to heaven or hell, what's God going to do? He created man, he destroyed most of them in the flood, then he had his son tortured and killed, then he sent him down again for a second time, and finally he destroyed the whole of the earth, saved the born again Christians, and sent the others who weren't born again to be tortured and burned for all eternity in hell. So, what is God's purpose after the second coming? Is there one? There isn't one. God has no purpose after that. There's nothing for him to do. Unless he gets bored and starts the whole thing off again. Time to create another universe, make more little toy people, play with them until they misbehave, and he has to kill them all off again. So, isn't this life in heaven sounding a little bit lame? Heaven seems to be a place where you go to do nothing. You'll just be a spaced out hippie looking at waterfalls and playing with rabbits. You won't have to try hard to do anything. Everything's going to be easy. Unlike on earth, where if you make something or do something, you feel a sense of achievement. In heaven, you'll get none of that. You're going to be bored out of your tiny little mind for all eternity. And eternity is a long, long time. On the other hand, if you think, as I do, that heaven isn't there, and that your purpose in life is not to get there, to heaven, you can make your own decision about your purpose in life. If you want to be an explorer, or an artist, or a teacher, or a musician, or magician, whatever you want, you can do it. And you know that the rewards that you're going to get will be the small or the large, the day-to-day achievements that come from just simply from being alive and doing something with your life. If you think you're going to win eternal peace after you die, think what eternal peace is. Try sitting in a room looking out of the window at a beautiful view. Now do that for a day. Now do it for 2 days. Now do it for 7 days. Now do it for a year. Just do that and nothing else. That's eternal peace. It's also known as eternal boredom. There's no big prize at the end of life. There's no big prize called heaven. The big prize is being happy for as long as you're alive on earth, knowing that you've only got one life and that's it. No second chances after you die. If you want to live your life just so that you can get to a non-existent place that you think exists after you die, you're going to waste every single day you have on this planet waiting to die to get there. And even if heaven does exist, when you get there, there's going to be no purpose to it. You won't have a purpose at all. You'll be stuck there for all eternity doing nothing but being happy, mindlessly happy. And the only people I know who are happy 24 hours a day are the people wearing white coats, and they put them in mental asylums.
Isn't that illegal?
Censor your kids' ideas, censor your child's inspiration, censor all that. Expect a really heavy return spring, because you know what? That kid's going to turn her on you, and you're never ever going to have a part of his life again.
Casting off the chains of the world.
But enough about me.